Zoom, Zoom. Now it sounds like we got a mic. Yay! Everybody cheering, all right. Woo-hoo! Woo! It's my second speech now, he says. Oh my gosh, that is how I felt when I got to the home of Richard Saul Wurman, the founder of TED. I had gotten a contract to write a book with McGraw-Hill. And everybody said, you need to meet Richard Saul Wurman, the founder of TED. He architects a conference because he actually is an architect. Let's put this into perspective. It's 2002. No LinkedIn, no Facebook, not even cell phones existed. So I had to network the old-fashioned way, calling people, leaving messages. In fact, the phones might have even been on the wall still at the time, I'm not sure. So what I did is I got to his house and I said, tell me about TED. For most of you, you know that TED stands for Technology, Entertainment, and Design. As an architect, this was something that was very important to him, to actually design a conference. And so he told me that one of the things that he found going to most conferences is you can't possibly meet somebody, get a cup of coffee, use the loo, and get back to your seat in 15 minutes. So he architected it to include an hour, because all of you sitting next to each other are probably as interesting as us on stage. And he wanted to be sure you had time to meet each other. So I'm going to share with you a few things that I talk about when I encourage people to think like a networking architect. First, one of the things I encourage you to do is to think about the front door as people come in. I encourage event planners and anybody who's running an event to have 4 corners where people can go by their birthday. Q1, January, February, March. Q2, April, May, June, etc. And then people can go to the corners and they automatically meet somebody that they have something in common with. Remember, this is the birthday, not the year, just the birthday. The other thing I invite people to do is to think about the value of the decor, if you will, the name tag. Now, here's a tip. Name tags go on the upper right shoulder because when you shake your hand with somebody, that eye naturally goes up the right arm. And I say shoulder because it's easier for someone to see it up there. And remember, not all of us are 29. Have the font be something that we can actually read. So the other thing I put on name tags is something to talk to me about. 2 things that I put on my name tag often. 1, sawed in half by a magician on a cruise ship. It's true, I thought I was going to die. The second thing I put on is I've been to Antarctica, which kind of feels nice, as I thought right now. And so part of it is it gives somebody something to talk to you about. The other thing I think about is when I first moved into my apartment, I wanted to say thank you to the people who helped me move. So I had a dinner party and I thought, I don't cook, it's a 4-letter word, just not my lane. And so I tossed everything into a saucepan and then I called my mom and I'm like, it's not cooking. And she said, what did you do? And I'm like, I tossed it all into the saucepan. And she said, sweetheart, it's a process. You take the onions, you brown them, et cetera, et cetera. Networking is a process. You don't just toss people into a room and expect them to cook. Give them processes and things that they can think about and actually do. This is why I like the idea of the 4 quarters and the name tag. The other thing I like to think about is the introvert versus the extrovert. I sometimes start my speeches with, who's an extrovert? And I say, guess what? You introverts, you don't even have to raise your hands. It makes people feel a little bit more comfortable. I'm from rural Indiana, grew up there as a child. I said hi to everybody because I was from a town of 8,000 people. So I'm real comfortable talking to people. I also moved overseas when I was 6 years old, crossed the Pacific on a freighter for 3 weeks to end up in the Philippines. So I'm really comfortable with talking to strangers. And if you're wondering why this is awkward for people, Your parents loved you. They said, don't talk to strangers. We have to unlearn the fact that we should be able to feel comfortable talking to strangers. So as people are navigating the event, be it a conference, a TEDx, a PTA meeting, a neighborhood party, I encourage you to find ways to make people feel more comfortable being in that setting. Then think about the exit plan. Architect that. Events can have these photo circles or things like that where you can share photos, make people feel friendly, share things about it, and encourage people to stay in touch. Again, think like a networking architect. Thank you so much.